Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you right now is the dessert, the appetizer that the media is pushing out around the big gun control push that the DNC is going to do tonight. You've got everybody showing up. The who's who. Lucy McBath. You got the Gabby Giffords. You got the Mark Kellys. You got the Tennessee Three. All of them. But what we're about to break down is something that a lot of people don't look at, because you're going to get gun control en masse through a beer funnel tonight. However, there's something that we need to address around what they're going to do. Everything will be linked in the description box below per usual. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and leave a comment right down there and share with a friend if you love them, because this is what we have to talk about. The Democratic Convention's final night to feature gun violence survivors. So they're going to dedicate the entire night to gun control. I mean, understand how important this is from a political standpoint of allocation of capital. Right before Harris's main speech, who is the DNC nominee, you're now going to have gun violence be the entire pitch to get more gun control, an entire night dedicated to it. That's a big part of their platform. Again, the ramifications are extreme gun control pushes are to follow should she win. There's more red flags and all the stuff that I'm about to show you than a Chinese communist parade. But hey, speaking of red flags, you don't get caught by red flags. You don't want that. Red flags are basically where you have a judge tell you can't have your gun rights, and different states that are blue leaning or blue bastions are taking gun rights left and right because, someone said something mean about you. The sleeping gun owner who gets a knock on the door and all of a sudden you have no gun rights, you've been proven guilty and you have to prove yourself innocent after a guilty assumption. Don't let it happen to you. USCCA is there to cover the red flag laws. They're there to give you advice should that happen to you. There's a link in the description box below, guys. Just check it out so at least you know about your options, because this is spreading like wildfire. And thank you to them for making this content possible. But let me get back to this. Oh, gun controllers. As you can see right there, they're going to do it the entire night. Former Representative Gabby Giffords, Lucy McBath, Tennessee Three, they're all going to speak. Gun violence survivors, advocates. It's going to be a night to remember for gun controllers. But I want to hit on something here that's really crucially important for you guys to understand. When I walk you through what they're doing, I'm going to show you the counter and the antidote. Check this out. As you can see, this article is from today. The final night of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago will feature lawmakers and victims of gun violence pushing for changes at the state and national levels, according to a convention official. The theme of the night will be titled, For Our Future. So it's this anomalous, oh my goodness gracious, our future needs to be greater and brighter. So we're not going to get rid of criminals, but we are going to get rid of the guns that the criminals use. But then the criminals will still exist, so I wonder what the criminal's going to do. It's very, very silly. But anyway, let me show you something, because this is the meat and potatoes I've got to get to. This is Lucy McBath. She's a representative from Georgia. She is a gun control champion. Here we are in 2024, McBath said, adding, it's so completely different. It is so completely different now. We are now are the Davids to the Goliath of the scourge of gun violence in this country. Now, again, keep in mind, this is how you start to refute this. In one breath, we're now Davids to the Goliath of the scourge of gun violence in this country. And in the other breath, on how amazing Harris is, we've never seen the decline of murders in this country. Their policies cannot stand. Their statements cannot stand together. They all have to be like this. They cannot be leaning on each other because they're all lies and they all fall apart. How on God's green earth, in one sentence, can you say Harris is the greatest person on the planet for the last 3.5 years because murders are falling off of a cliff because of gun control, but then on the other side say we're the Davids to the Goliath in this whole scourge of gun violence? It doesn't make sense. On its basic face, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, let's continue, because this is the part where they kick our faces in. The only part where they kick our faces in, and it's very easy to refute. This is important. If you hear anything in this video, hear this part. Listen to this. Same thing. Stories matter. People's lived experiences matter, McBath said about the importance of taking the stage alongside other survivors of gun violence. We're not numbers and statistics. We're real, live human beings having such traumatic experiences that do not have to happen, she said. So here's the way that you counter this. And again, this is so important. She's making this about an emotional response to real live human beings. They are not stats and numbers. They're basically saying, you saying facts, don't care about your feelings, is inhuman. How could you? Because we're real live people. That's what they're trying to angle. They're trying to preempt fact and lean on emotion. Here's how you lean on emotion in this exact same scenario. We have an entire population of humanity who has been under the boot of governments over the past history of humanity, in which case thousands upon millions of people have died at the hands of their own governments, and that has created such a psyche scar on all people who love freedom that we will never let it happen again by taking our guns. The lived experience of which they are touting right here, yeah, that lived experience has also lived through the entire 20th century of the Chinese, of the Russians, of the Germans. Yeah, we've got lived experience as well, but we don't speak to it. That's the important part. Imagine an entire government state which is running amok, killing people, and you have no way to defend yourself against that state. We can do it too, we just don't do it. But anyway, let me keep going, because again, that's how you beat them. Let's talk about Kamala. Vice President Kamala Harris will give her speech before the convention Thursday, and the spotlight on gun violence will seek to draw attention to her policy proposals to tackle gun violence and build on her work overseeing the first White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. So she's going to reaffirm all of this. McBath lauded Harris for work on the issue, calling the Office of Gun Violence Prevention transformative. They literally created a branch where gun controllers have a revolving door into the White House, with the vice president leading it. They have co-opted the entire executive branch. Just saying. But anyway, this last piece right here, this is what I really wanted to hit on. Because remember, she's for gun rights, right? She believes in the Second Amendment, but Harris didn't just wake up one day and start doing this work, McBath said. She's been doing this work. She's been committed in the community for years, for decades, and so I cannot think about a greater time when there has been more excitement and energy and passion about saving people's lives than we have right now. It's setting up for this joyous, common sense, gun control utopian appeal, which does not have basis in fact and reality because they are trying to take the emotional high ground. That's exactly what they're trying to do right here. Don't worry about the facts. Don't worry about anything that's important. However, while I say that, they also have a complete monopoly on the emotional part of this argument. If you can figure out how to communicate effectively the emotional part of the argument, they will lose every single time. The people who control the emotional argument are going to have the best standing because the big lizard brains in our head right here respond to emotion before they respond to facts. I'm just saying, buckle up. We're going to do all the coverage of all of these things. I don't think we're going to do a live stream. You can let me in the comments if you want me to live stream it and kind of do in real-time correction. But that's kind of what I got for you guys. Let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.